fight. Woo. Mike, by yourself, Chad.
Mike, this is amazing.
Roll 3.
Puta que pariu! Excelente, Mike. Excelente uppercut, Mike. Excelente fight stance, Mike.
Smoke that joint to go to the gym.
Can you guys vouch for me? Am I right?
Yep. How you doing, Mike? Good to see you, brother. You looking good, Mike.
Mike Tyson has reportedly been knocked out in a sparring session, potentially canceling his fight with Jake Paul. This unexpected event has sent shockwaves through the boxing community, given Tyson's iconic status and the excitement surrounding the match. The sparring session, which was meant to be a part of Tyson's rigorous training regimen, turned out to be more intense than anticipated. Insiders reveal that Tyson, despite his age, has been pushing himself to the limit in preparation for the fight.
Hey, here we are.
Yeah, you know?
Hey, here we are. You fought against yourself and you won today.
Yes.
Look at the way he reacts. Days like that make a lot of difference in life. He fought against himself today. He came, he did the best training of the week. Why? Because he knew it.
However, this latest development suggests that the former heavyweight champion may have underestimated the physical toll that such intense training could take on his body. The knockout has raised serious concerns about Tyson's health and whether he will be able to recover in time for the scheduled bout. Given the nature of the injury, there is now a real possibility that the fight could be postponed or even canceled, depending on Tyson's recovery. Fans and analysts are anxiously awaiting an official statement from Tyson's camp, as well as any updates on his condition. Jake Paul, on the other hand, has remained relatively quiet on the matter, though his team is reportedly monitoring the situation closely. The prospect of facing an injured Tyson could change the dynamics of the fight, and it remains to be seen how this will impact Paul's preparations. The potential cancellation of the fight would be a significant blow to both fighters, who have invested considerable time and energy into promoting the event. For Tyson, this fight was seen as a chance to once again prove his prowess in the ring, while for Paul, it represented an opportunity to further establish himself as a legitimate contender in the boxing world. Boxing purists opposed to the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul match found relief over the summer. Originally slated for July 20th, the fight was postponed due to Tyson suffering from an ulcer flare-up. While many hoped this would put an end to the spectacle, the bout has now been rescheduled for November 15th. Many are eager to watch the boxing legend dismantle Paul in the ring. Others are simply craving a showdown, where Paul faces an opponent with a real, seasoned boxing pedigree. And then, there are those who think the entire spectacle is nothing more than a joke. Eddie Hearn, chairman of Matchroom Boxing, firmly places Tyson in the latter category, attributing it to nothing other than his advancing age. Hearn said, What on earth are we doing? I'm lucky enough to have a business where we don't need to do that, and I will never do that. Anyone that thinks that Tyson should be in the ring right now either doesn't have his best interest at heart or is an idiot. You honestly think that a fighter that was shot to pieces 20 years ago should now be coming back? Hearn admires Paul for his consistent daily training and his ability to throw a punch. He believes this dedication alone makes the 58-year-old a formidable threat, even if his punching power has waned with age. Hearn is not the first to voice concerns about Tyson's well-being, and as November approaches, he certainly won't be the last. However, Mike Tyson has confirmed his readiness to fight Jake Paul. In a recent interview with Fox 40 News, Tyson expressed his excitement about returning to the ring, saying, "I'm just looking forward to this. This is something that ignites me. It just gives me life for myself." He emphasized that the decision to fight was his alone, adding, "Forget what my wife and kids are like, thinking about just this one moment. Don't worry about me, that's all." Although Tyson's last professional bout took place in 2005, he made a comeback in 2020 for an exhibition match against Roy Jones Jr. Now, the possibility of facing Jake Paul, a younger, more active fighter, has sparked concerns about the potential dangers of such a challenge. Tyson admitted, "I'm always going to test myself. I'm always going to push the envelope." Jake Paul, on the other hand, said that everything is proceeding according to plan and voiced no worries about Tyson's health. Mike Tyson, undeterred by health concerns, is set to ignore the warnings as he gears up for a highly anticipated return to the boxing ring against Jake Paul. The boxing legend has issued a fresh challenge to the YouTuber-turned-fighter, signaling his readiness for the showdown. Despite its intrigue, the event has sparked controversy, largely because of its unconventional rules: fewer, shorter rounds, and heavier gloves. Adding to the debate is the stark age difference between the 58-year-old, whose younger years were marred by substance abuse, and the 27-year-old competitor. Despite everything, the former undisputed heavyweight champion remains determined to pursue his 51st career victory. A recent photo reveals the immense dedication he's pouring into his preparation for the upcoming fight. Sweat soaked through his clothes, cascading down his face in relentless streams. The legendary boxer feared like no other, exuded the same formidable aura he did in the early 1990s, his signature death stare, as piercing and intense as ever. "We win," was the caption, written in the all-black, no-ring walk music style that has come to be associated with the man. It's a foreboding sign for Paul regarding the challenges that lie ahead. Out of his 11 fights, Paul has faced only one genuine boxer, Tommy Fury, in 2023. Despite landing a brief knockdown, Paul was thoroughly outclassed and ultimately defeated. Mike Tyson's final professional bout took place in 2005, when he retired after facing Kevin McBride at the MCI Center in Washington, D.C. However, his last victory dates back even further, more than 19 years prior. The youngest heavyweight champion ever secured his final professional victory at the age of 36 on February 22, 2003, by knocking out Clifford Etienne in the first round. The bout lasted less than 50 seconds before Etienne hit the canvas. Hulk Hogan, a WWE superstar, has some opinions about the impending bout between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Hogan worries that Iron Mike won't be protected from the problem child. Mike Tyson, a legendary heavyweight boxer, remains a towering figure in the sport's history. Although he hasn't competed professionally for 2 decades, aside from a recent exhibition match with Roy Jones Jr., his prowess in the ring during his prime was unmatched. Now approaching 60, Tyson's legacy as a formidable force endures. Jake Paul, originally known for his YouTube fame, has transitioned into the boxing world with impressive success, taking down notable former UFC stars such as Nate Diaz and Anderson Silva. His bouts consistently attract massive attention. Hulk Hogan, speaking to Jake's brother Logan Paul, explained his concerns about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul. Hogan told Logan Paul that his brother Jake was incredibly strong, noting that the previous night, as soon as he saw him set the opponent up with the left and continue throwing the overhand right, he thought it was terrifying. He expressed concern, saying it seemed like his brother might seriously hurt someone. Hogan also mentioned his deep admiration for Mike Tyson, adding that he wouldn't want his brother to harm him.
Should we stand too?
Your brother's too strong, bro.
He's too strong, right? Yeah. And he's like really actually super strong. Like he doesn't look like it. He maybe does look like it a little bit, but like the weight he pushes in the gym is impressive.
Yeah, last night, as soon as I saw him set the guy up to the left, he kept going overhead right over the bone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, really.
No, seriously. And he has a left hand now that looks like it's firing off. He's
I love Mike to death. I don't want him to kill Mike. Jesus.
Tyson.
Yeah.
Bro, we have to talk about
Wait,
this.
is this the podcast?
Yeah, is this the?
You know, I'm excited.
Should we just give him headphones?
Yeah, you could just stay there.
Interestingly enough, Mike Tyson's sparring buddy said the exact opposite. He worries about Paul's safety in the impending Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul bout. He clarified, "For me, it's going to be a glorified sparring session. When Mike boxed Roy Jones Jr., he hit Roy with a body shot and sunk him, and Mike knew he could hurt Roy Jones. Anybody that Mike hits is going to hurt, probably knockout as well, but he carried Roy Jones. If it comes down to it, Jake Paul doesn't think a backup fighter is necessary to take Mike Tyson's position. Although Tyson's health issues have led to a delay in their fight, Paul, whose most valuable promotions is handling the event, has yet to designate a substitute. Paul told TMZ of Tyson's health, "I don't have concerns. He's doing great. He's super healthy behind the scenes and feeling great. That's what we're focused on. And there's not a backup currently." Numerous experts and commentators have expressed concerns over the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations decision to officially sanction the Paul versus Tyson match. Despite his admiration for Tyson, Paul promises to give his all in the ring. Paul said, "A pro fight means war, and I don't take it lightly. You can get seriously hurt or injured in there. So, if you're not in there to go to war, then you should just get out." Meanwhile, Francis Ngannou has delivered a stern warning to Jake Paul, casting doubt on the YouTuber's chances of overcoming Mike Tyson in their upcoming bout. The announcement of this high-profile clash between Paul and the boxing icon Tyson stirred considerable excitement in the fight world. Just as Paul starts to get carried away with excitement, Ngannou steps in with a word of caution for the problem child. Having trained alongside Iron Mike before his bout with Tyson Fury, Ngannou has a solid understanding of the power Tyson can deliver. In a recent exclusive interview on the BS with Jake Paul podcast, Ngannou mentioned to Jake that he had seen Tyson move around to demonstrate some techniques. Ngannou recalled how Tyson explained footwork, and he found himself thinking that Tyson still had his skills. He added that he believed Mike Tyson could still beat Jake up, emphasizing that Tyson was on a different level and referred to him as a remarkable specimen.
You said that you think Mike Tyson's gonna beat my ass.
Yeah. Listen, I have seen how Tyson moves around,
Just like to show me stuff, he was like this footwork moving, like you move like this, and I'm like, hold on, like, you know, calm down. You know, mine will move from this side to this side without you knowing exactly at which moment.
Like,
do that until
so what do I have to watch out for?
like
So what do I have to watch out for?
Everything. I mean, knowing Mike, I just believe that Mike would beat him.
Once the fight was announced, fans quickly split into two distinct camps. One faction believed that Jake Paul stood no chance against the legendary Mike Tyson, given Tyson's unparalleled fighting pedigree. Conversely, the other group argued that Tyson's age, 30 years his senior, might undermine his advantage. While Tyson's technique was unrivaled, Paul's superior stamina and physical strength could tip the scales in his favor. Tyson has long since retired from professional boxing, making his return to the ring only 4 years ago in 2020. In contrast, Jake Paul, also known as the Problem Child, has demonstrated considerable skill within the squared circle. His victories over figures like Ben Askren, Nate Diaz, and Mike Perry underscore his potential. Nonetheless, questions persist about how Jake Paul would fare against a formidable knockout artist like Tyson. In a similar vein, UFC icon Daniel Cormier offered a new perspective on the issue. Cormier suggested that the bout with Mike Tyson was a no-win scenario for Jake Paul. According to DC, a victory over Tyson would likely stir resentment among fans who would view Paul as preying on an aging hero. Conversely, if Tyson emerged victorious, it would significantly damage Paul's standing. The November 15th showdown clearly presents a double-edged sword for Jake Paul. Though both Paul and Tyson appear intensely invested in the match, the outcome remains uncertain. In the widely anticipated fight, Paul will have about a 30-year youth advantage over his opponent. Concerns about the safety of Iron Mike making a comeback after a 20-year hiatus were already high, but they intensified when the original fight date in July was postponed. Back then, Tyson said, "I want to thank my fans around the world for their support and understanding during this time. Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I have been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover." He further added, "My body is in better overall shape than it has been since the 1990s, and I will be back to my full training schedule soon." Jake Paul, this may have bought you some time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good. I appreciate everyone's patience and can't wait to deliver an unforgettable performance later this year. Former 8-weight world champion Manny Pacquiao was stunned to learn about the match being confirmed. When Fight Hub TV informed him that the two fighters had signed to face off, Pac-Man was visibly taken aback and questioned the news. He said, "They're going to fight?" Pacquiao dismissed the influencer's prospects of defeating the former undisputed heavyweight champion when he was asked if Paul could prevail. He said, "I don't think so. Should the legendary former heavyweight champ Mike Tyson step into the ring with influencer boxing star Jake Paul?" At first glance, this clash appears to be a surreal spectacle, emblematic of our modern quirky times. Yet, the core issue lies in the ethics and appropriateness of a 58-year-old Tyson, well beyond his prime, facing off against a younger, more active competitor like Paul. In a recent chat with the Sun Sport, Eddie Hearn, the mastermind behind Matchroom Boxing and known for orchestrating high-profile bouts such as the upcoming Anthony Joshua versus Daniel Dubois clash, shared his thoughts on the subject. While he extended his best wishes to the event organizers, he couldn't resist labeling Netflix's venture into boxing as a freak show and warned of a possible travesty should things take a turn for the worse. During an interview, Hearn expressed his belief that genuine boxing enthusiasts are not keen on this matchup. However, he noted that organizers and broadcasters seem to have a different view, seeing it from their own angle. They're looking at it for numbers, they're looking at it for hype, and I get it. I understand that this freak show may well do good numbers, Hearn said. However, he expressed his disapproval of the bout, emphasizing that for those who truly care about the sport's rich history and Tyson's legacy, it's not something you'd ever consider. He also took a jab at Netflix and Most Valuable Promotion, owned by Jake Paul, suggesting that if the fight generates enough revenue for them, they don't really care how it looks in terms of the empathy of it. Hearn came to the conclusion that true boxing fans wouldn't even want to get engaged in the decision-making process. Mike Tyson recently experienced an ulcer flare-up while on a cross-country flight, sparking renewed anxiety among fans about his well-being. Although this health setback led to a postponement of the fight originally scheduled for July 20th, Netflix chose not to cancel the bout entirely. Interestingly, this turn of events seems to dovetail seamlessly with the Problem Child's strategy. In that same interview, a reporter from the Sun Sports shared that he and several colleagues had a conversation with Jake Paul. During their chat, Paul openly admitted that his plan was to become the most despised figure in the sport. By doing so, he aimed to draw audiences eager to watch him get knocked out. Hearn responded to this by making assumptions about the modern world and what draws people to fight tickets. Hearn said, "It's just a different world, isn't it, that we live in this new generation?" That being said, Tyson's health was the only thing on the Matchroom boss's mind. Hearn added, "Hopefully, Mike Tyson doesn't get hurt because it would be a travesty for boxing." Roy Jones is supporting Mike Tyson's decision to raise his hand in his upcoming matchup with Jake Paul. Formerly the top contender in boxing, Jones Jr. has always been a dedicated scholar of the sport. Following his time in the ring with Tyson, he has offered his insights on how he thinks the clash between Paul and Tyson might unfold. "I think it's a great fight and a great marketing situation as well, because a lot of people want to see it. It's a young lion and an old lion. It's a great situation for them," said Roy Jones Jr. when speaking to Fight Hype. He added, "It gives Jake a chance with Mike being as old as he is. I think it's a great opportunity for both fighters, but I still think Mike is going to be a little bit too much for Jake." As the countdown to the highly anticipated showdown between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul begins, we're just weeks away from their much-anticipated clash in the ring. With the fight still looming, notable figures in the world of combat sports have expressed various concerns. The primary worry is that, at nearly 60 years old, Mike Tyson faces significant risks from potential head trauma. This concern is echoed by many who have weighed in on the matter. However, there are also those who believe Tyson will breeze through the bout with minimal difficulty. Have you ever pondered what Tyson's greatest rival might think about this upcoming fight? As a fighter who fought Mike twice and won both times, Holyfield has a very interesting prediction for the Paul vs. Tyson fight. Here's what he recently told the media. "I don't know how much confidence that Jake Paul has in all of that, but he's going to be a lot quicker. If he stays close to Mike, then his chance of winning is going to be great. But if he tries to stay back from Mike, he's going to get caught." He further added, "The point about it is, does Jake Paul take a good shot? I never seen him get hit by nobody. That's it. It may be over because he ain't probably never fought nobody that punched like Mike. You never know. Just like Mike quit in the ring, he got tired and just quit and just sat down. I'm done." Evander Holyfield stands out as one of the premier heavyweights of the late 90s and early 2000s. However, he is perhaps best remembered for being at the center of one of boxing's most astonishing events. During a fight, Mike Tyson famously bit off a portion of Holyfield's ear, creating a moment of palpable tension and an eerie sense that the situation could spiral out of control. Despite this dramatic clash, Holyfield and Tyson have since reconciled, with Tyson even offering cannabis-infused gummy ears under his brand. As of 2022, Tyson clarified that Holyfield does not receive any profits from these gummy treats. The notion that Mike Tyson, the legendary boxer, would knock him out in their bout on November 15th was dismissed by Jake Paul. Paul said to TMZ Sports, "Mike is big and beefy and thick and strong. Francis Ngannou actually said that he thinks Mike's gonna knock me out, which is funny. But I do have to be careful in the early rounds because Mike has that crazy punching power." There's no doubt that Tyson stands as the most accomplished boxer Paul has faced to date. Known as Iron Mike, the former heavyweight champ boasts an impressive 44 knockouts, and even at 58 years old, he still possesses the power to drop an opponent with a single, precise punch. Tyson's most recent professional match took place nearly 2 decades ago in 2005. With a staggering 31-year difference in age, this fight will set a new record for the largest age gap in a sanctioned bout. Tyson's training videos might provide a boost of optimism, but his performance in the ring against a younger opponent could reveal a stark contrast, showcasing a notable decline in speed and effectiveness. The legendary knockout power he was once known for seems to have faded from view. Paul, who boasts an impressive record of 8 victories with only 1 defeat, has won 4 consecutive matches since his 2023 loss to Tommy Fury. However, a defeat by the 58-year-old Tyson could seriously jeopardize the credibility he has worked hard to build by taking on more formidable opponents instead of fellow influencers. If Tyson were to win, Paul might find himself back at square one, with no guarantee of a successful comeback. However, Iron Mike's former sparring partner has cast doubt on the highly anticipated boxing match between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, suggesting it might end up being nothing more than a glorified sparring session. Concerns have been raised about Tyson's health, yet some believe Tyson might defy expectations and pull off a surprising victory against the rising star Paul. Among those believers is Joe Egan, Tyson's former sparring partner, who questioned whether Mike would want to go all out and risk seriously hurting the problem child. Egan cautioned TalkSport that the fight might be more of a glorified sparring session. He also recalled how Tyson had sunk Roy Jones Jr. with a body shot when they met in the ring again in 2020. Egan said, "Mike knew he could hurt Roy Jones. Anybody that Mike hits is going to hurt, probably knock out as well, but he carried Roy Jones. I never believed Mike Tyson could carry anybody because when I sparred him at Catskill, every punch he threw was with bad intentions. He was a vicious, ferocious, savage heavyweight. To see him mellow with age is wonderful, and to see what he did with Roy Jones is incredible. That evening, Jake Paul knocked out former NBA player Nate Robinson, crediting Tyson's striking techniques for boosting his confidence. You got to admire him for getting in the ring with Mike Tyson, but I don't think Mike will go full force on him. I don't believe that because if Mike went full force on Jake Paul, he could seriously hurt him. Never mind about the age. Mike will have lost a lot of speed with age, but he won't have lost his power, the insider claimed. Earlier, it was expected that the two would compete in an exhibition match, considering the significant 31-year age gap between them. However, the fight has now been officially recognized as a professional heavyweight match, sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, meaning knockouts are allowed. Despite this, Egan, who spent 2 years training with a young Tyson, doesn't believe knockouts will be necessary. Instead, the former heavyweight champion predicts the bout will resemble an enhanced sparring match, much like Tyson's recent encounter with Roy Jones Jr. He added, "Jake Paul has probably boxed as Mike Tyson on Nintendo and Game Boy a million times, and now he's getting to share the ring with one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. For me, it's going to be a glorified sparring session. When Mike boxed Roy Jones Jr., he hit Roy with a body shot and sunk him, and Mike knew he could hurt Roy Jones." Make sure to check out some of our other videos on the screen if you enjoyed this one.